Welcome everybody to today's podcast episode. I'm super excited to have Ms Kendal Turner from Sisters on the Sofa here. She is known for divorce proofing your marriage. Okay, she is a relationship expert, and we're gonna get into some juicy conversations here today. Welcome to the show, Kendall.
Yes, I'm super excited and I really do appreciate you inviting me.
Yes. So, could you just tell us a little bit about what you do, how long you've been doing it, what made you want to start doing it? I'm known for asking a lot of questions at once, so take your time. If you need me to
Look, I got it. I appreciate it. So honestly, just going back to like undergrad in my early 20s, I knew I was going to school to be in education and then eventually transition into counseling. So I had my daughter really young at 20, which is, I would say, the start in the journey of me wanting to cultivate healthy relationships, because that relationship was far, from being a healthy one. I did get kind of caught up, I would say, in education and feeling like that's where I wanted to retire. Definitely didn't think about entrepreneurship ever. So so as I transitioned from the classroom to as a school counselor is when I really noticed the importance of keeping a family together, right? Like all the problems that my teenagers were coming in my office with were really things that needed to be addressed as a whole family unit. And that's where this whole divorce proofing came from. Because I figured if that mom and that dad's relationship is tight, right, then it spills over into your children, eventually making the kids healthier. And then look, I'm going to the world, but the world a healthier, happier place. And that's really my life's mission, to make sure that we are in healthy, happy, thriving relationships. So that's
love that. I
thank you.
love that. And okay, so this whole series is business but not business. So we're talking about things that a lot of business owners can relate to, talk about, think about, that we're dealing with. And I love that your entrepreneurship mindset was like, I see a hole here. Let me fill it. So I just
Yes.
love that.
Thank you.
As a business coach, you're out here solving problems,
Yes.
serving solutions, like what I love to say. So that in itself is just amazing for you to even be able to see that and connect the two, and then birth something that is so needed, especially in our community.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I love that. So as far as like business owners, I know, especially just in my tribe, talking to different people, there are a lot of us that are single, honey. Okay. And
Yes.
it's a lot different, especially in today's time with all the conversations of, you know, should you do 50-50, and
Mhm.
women with accomplishments can't find a man, and like all of these things. I thought it would be super cool to have you on to talk about just helping us out. Like, how do we date, you know, and not diminish ourselves, or how do we approach the dating pool, being entrepreneurs and a lot of us single? How do we even start to just how should we go or approach the dating pool? And hopefully you can give us some tips on how we can do it successfully so we can
Yes.
find our spouses and divorce proof our marriage.
Yes. Yes. Love it. Yes. And eventually be my newlywed clients. But I like to use this term, and I know I hadn't got pushed back publicly, but I'm not sure behind the scenes how people feel about the whole, especially as business owners, right? The whole market your magic. And so I'm like, market your magic when it comes to dating. And what that means is not really highlighting like, I got this amount of degrees, right? And I make this amount of money. Like, do you know who I am? Like that whole language, but your true essence of who you are and what you bring like the value you actually bring to other people's lives and eventually your spouse's life. And I know this whole talk about femininity and masculinity is like a big topic, but what I think about for women when it comes to your femininity and marketing, your magic, right, is those nurturing, that nurturing quality that you just naturally bring to the table. Like how with me being connected to you, right, how does my life come up? And so for me, just talking to you, not saying you single, but just hearing you talk today, and I already felt connected to you or encouraged by you. Like those are small things that, man, remember you making them laugh, right? Or me being able to just feel calm in your presence. Like I can trust you. Those are the characteristics that you highlight versus being like, I'm a boss and nothing's wrong with that, right? But what can I do? Like, what can I do with that as your man? I want to feel comfortable around you. I want to be able to trust you. And a lot of, even my husbands, they talk a lot about like feeling inadequate or not feeling like they're understood as Black men. So those are the qualities that I think women should market, right, in the dating pool.
Gotcha. Okay. I love that. I love how the verbiage too that you said, marketing, just how you upgrade anybody's life, right? It's not just what can I bring to the table for a man, and it's, oh, I can cook for you, blase blase. But more so like, how do I elevate anybody's life that I'm connected to? And so automatically I start to think about that differently. Me, just in general, just using me for an example, I like to make people's life easier. When you come in contact with me, I want you to think luxury, convenience, time, savers, all of that type of stuff. And I'm pretty sure that if I was kind of bringing that energy to dating or those benefits, it would definitely come across well in a positive light, rather than, this is how much money I make. Okay, what can you do for me?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
So I love that. I love that that perspective on it. So how does that look practically? What could we do to show how we elevate, and not it being a way of like we're proving ourselves?
Yes, no, that's a great, thank you for asking that. I think, and what I'm learning, right, even as a coach in my program, I start, whether they're singles or like married couples, I start with mindset, right? And doing like working on your limiting beliefs and just how you feel about yourself, and also changing small habits. Like I encourage a morning routine, but here's why. The starting your morning off and like setting a tone for your day allows you to slow down and then tap into what like your emotions are, what you're dealing with, right? And so this whole essence idea of you, or even you walking more in your feminine nature, which is going to come off naturally and you're not going to have to prove yourself, starts with you and the work that you're doing daily, right, on the inside. And so that morning routine is, if you're a spiritual person, right, you're either reading your Bible, or I talk a lot about guided meditation, even reading other books that are like self-help, but just you being lit. It sounds so cliche, but you being the best version of yourself. If there's areas that you need to work on and you need to heal, right, you're doing that work as well. And then it genuinely is gonna come off naturally. You're gonna meet people, they're gonna see this light. Like I remember being young, like maybe 26, 27, and saying a prayer like, God, please, like when people see me, allow them to see you inside of me. And so he just started to transform who I was inside out. And then I have the evidence of people saying you're different, right? Like there's something different about you. And so you don't have to prove yourself, but you do have to do the work prior to stepping out each morning. So my practical tip again would just be establishing some type of morning routine that allows you to be a better person.
Yeah, I love that. I am currently in therapy. After my divorce, I was just like, I really need to do some work on around relationships, and building healthy relationships, because I don't want to just go back out into the dating scene and replicate the same thing.
Yes,
And
yes.
so I'm really in a process of re literally like reshaping all of my just thoughts and ideas and knowledge around like relationships, like
Yes.
just doing it all over. And I'm telling y'all, it's so hard because the belief systems that we have, are so strong. And so when you're trying to incorporate something new, it's like you're warring against yourself,
Yes, yes.
But I'm rewiring all of those thought processes. But I knew that if I did not do the inside work, like it's going to continue to show up on the outside. I'm going to continue to kind of create the same relationships, different people.
Yeah. No, that's so true.
Yeah, and I mean that's relationships romantically and platonically, because I always say how you do one thing is how you do everything. So definitely, just to add to what you were saying, especially that morning routine and doing your own work. I think too, I heard a preacher say this one time. He was like, before Adam got his wife, he had pets, like he had animals and stuff that he had to take care of. And so I think another good thing would be just really investing into your platonic relationships and nurturing those relationships. Because if you learn how to do that well, it'll just kind of overflow into like romantic relationships as well. So
I agree. And yeah, to speak directly to that, allowing people to hold you accountable, right? Like so many people get upset when they're kind of called out on how they've been showing up. And so having those platonic relationships, of course, with people you trust, but letting them kind of say like, hey, the way you've been showing up, or the way you talk to so and so, like that wasn't cool. I know you were mad, but that it still wasn't okay, without you feeling like I ain't talking to them no more. And that, like, but that is gonna carry over into your romantic relationship. So I'm glad you said that.
okay, yeah, that's really good. Really, really good. Accountability is so important.
Yes.
And but like you said, people that you trust. And sometimes, again, therapy is really good. Having a coach
Yes.
like you, somebody
Yes.
that's standing on the outside who can, because a lot of times we'll go to our friends and stuff, but they really don't know a healthy way either. And so a lot of the times they'll, agree with you when really your thought processes and behaviors need to change. So definitely having a coach, somebody to hold you accountable that you can trust, would definitely be a great, great, great thing to do. Okay, so we're learning how to market our magic, taking a whole perspective around that. I love that. Okay, so what about the people who have a relationship? They're in a relationship and that can be a challenge too, because listen, our businesses are our baby. A lot of times, our other people in our life can kind of take the back seat. How do we not do that and like make sure that we're creating healthy or maintaining a healthy relationship as an entrepreneur when we have so many different responsibilities?
No, yeah, that's good too. It really was like January, February. I did the whole series on the work-life spillover, and it was mainly, the purpose of it was to speak directly to entrepreneur women, or even women that want to climb like the corporate ladder. So business and money, all of those things are important to you. You also want to balance that home life. And so the word that comes to mind is being intentional, right? Like having systems. I love that you said earlier, like I come in people's life and I like to make it easier, right? Like how can you make your life easier, especially in your business, to where you are able to still show up at home and in your relationship. And so some of those things were like outside of business was creating systems inside of your home. Like what can you get up off your plate so that you can spend more time at home. So we talked about getting groceries delivered, meal prep service, even meal kits. We talked about cleaning services, like all of those things that you don't necessarily have to do a lot of the homemaking stuff unless you want to and you're able to balance it. But the goal again is to show up, right? Because you could be married or in a relationship and still be neglecting your partner, which ultimately impact the relationship in a negative way. We talked a lot about keeping those date nights, right? So you know if you got a client, you got a session at this time, you're gonna show up for it. Make sure that date night is the same thing. And if you could do weekly date nights, that's what I encourage. I also encourage my couples to establish rituals, right? And so all a ritual is something you do daily with your partner. It could be drinking coffee, y'all going to work out together, watching a show, but it all goes back to being intentional about the time that you're spending with that person.
Oh, that's so good. So good. I love the rituals. That's something different. I remember reading somewhere where I forgot the lady's name, but she plays on a lot of dang it, I forgot her name. What is it? I forgot. But anyway, she was saying how she takes baths every day with her husband. And I was like, what? Like that's something that they do every day together.
Yes.
So I think those rituals are like I love it. And y'all don't sleep on the system. I'm all for the convenience and time saving things. Like
Yes.
you don't have to be a billionaire to have a cleaning service or a nanny or you know things that just make your life easier. And like a lot of times we think we're saving money, but we're really like you're having to something you have to give for that. So
Yes.
you can buy back so much of your time with things like that, with systems like
Yes.
in your house. So not only systems in your business, because you know I'm all about it, also systems in your house. So that's
Absolutely.
so dope. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, do you have anything else you could like give or you think of that you want to kind of address when it comes to us as business owners and relationships?
Yes, I'll say for my singles too, because I feel like a lot of people don't talk about like where to meet the like this standard, whatever your standard is, right? Of you saying you want to meet guys. I think my tips are, I'm gonna say, ladies, don't go out in groups. So a lot of people are like, what, why? Or if you do, if you go, let's say you're going out with 2 or 3 girls at the max, make sure like if you're out like at a day party or whatever, you're out split up, like either, okay, I'm gonna go get our round of drinks at the bar, like walk over there alone, or walk to the bathroom alone. We like to huddle together and all go to the bathroom together. But again, it's super intimidating for a man to see a group of beautiful women, right? And just really not know how to approach them, because honestly, they're scared to get rejected. That's just the truth. So just allowing that space of being like, okay, I'm about to do this alone. I also think a lot of like steakhouses are slept on, especially as business women, right? Take yourself out to eat. It's okay to go to dinner by yourself, and it gives you an opportunity to meet men that are maybe more of your caliber, of what you're looking for. Because out too, they're celebrating and they definitely will come in and approach you. So those those are my single lady tips of just where to meet some man at. And then again, for couples, I did the workshop recently for the 3 keys to making it last forever. We talked about the mindset and why mindset matters. So just again, reiterating, if you, not even if you don't have to, you feel like you don't need to heal, just preventative work with working with a counselor, a coach is super vital, as well as however you can pour into yourself. So listening to podcasts, reading books, working out, right? Being mindful of the food that you put in your body, like all of those things matter when it comes to your mindset and you being healthy. The other thing I talked about as a key is that feminine communication, and then how men can help balance that out, right? Help us stay safe to where we are able to operate from a softer place. And again, the femininity part comes hand in hand with your mindset. Once you're working on yourself and you're able, I don't know, to kind of see things clearer, then you get an idea of how to relax. Like you said, those systems, like once you're delegating and you feel like, I feel more relaxed, and you're able to be softer and show up more nurturing and comforting in your relationship. And then that man, whether people want to believe it or not, like guys really do rise up once you're operating from this softer place, and they'll do whatever you really want them to do from that space, because they like what they're feeling and they want to continue to protect you. And then the third key was intimacy, which goes back to what I talked about, just being intentional about those rituals, date nights, and I also suggested traveling quarterly. So again, we're business owners, just taking that time to connect and experience new places with your partner is something else that can help make that relationship last forever. So those are my three keys.
I have so many gems. Okay, I'm like writing stuff when you're talking. I love how you said just working on you just makes a relationship better. Like it's so true. The better we connect with ourselves and the better we become, the relationship becomes better. I know a lot of times we look for people to complete us or make our lives better. Like that was one of the things I had to realize, like in dating, like, girl, you don't have a life. Like, yes, you may be dating somebody, but men are good with boundaries and having their own life and having their own time. And we're kind of more so like, when we like somebody, we can be clingy and like different like that because we want to spend time with them. But like, listen, we gotta have a life.
Yeah.
We have to have our own life, and we have to, do our own thing and work on ourselves and not look for the other person to complete us. Like we have to be complete in ourselves. And it only just makes sharing our happiness a lot, better, easier.
Yes.
And then when you said about the intimacy part, like men, they like the way that they feel. I was listening to somebody, they were talking about femininity, and they were saying like women or feminine energy um, feels good and then they'll do good. Masculine energy does good to feel good.
Yes.
So, like how you said, if you tell your husband or your partner or whatever, like, hey, if I had more help with the kids, or if I was able to get a nanny, I definitely feel like I'll have more time for us. That man is gonna try to do everything in his power to get a nanny because listen, he's trying to feel good, okay? Kind of capitalizing on that type of stuff, because they do want to feel good and they'll do whatever to feel good. And then when we feel good, it pushes us to do good and do things make them feel good. So just really resting and learning more about feminine energy and masculine energy, I think is really good. You brought out so many points. So if people are struggling with that, definitely do more research on that. And
Yes.
and then the other thing you said, traveling, and just creating new experiences,
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
deepens connections. So thank you so much
You're
for all the
welcome.
tips and the tips,
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
especially where to find men, because we need to know, okay?
Yeah, I was like, let me make sure I throw that in, especially for my boss women out there that are looking.
Yes,
So
that's great. Great tips. Definitely didn't even think about that. So thank you. Well, please tell the people how they can find you if anybody's out here wanting to divorce proof their marriage and just work on yourself. You know, you need some help in the relationship space. How can they find you?
yes, okay. So I work with singles and couples, and you can find me at either Your Sister on the Sofa on Instagram or Sisters on the Sofa on Instagram, as well as I am on Facebook under Kendall Turner. I do also write a blog every Sunday, which is sistersonthesofa.com. So if you're not sure you're ready to fully invest in a relationship coach and counselor, then you could definitely check out that free content. And typically it'll drive people to be like, you know what, I'm ready to invest in my future and divorce proof my relationship. So
Yes, so all of her contact information will be in the show notes. So if you are looking to connect with Ms. Kendall, as you should, definitely check out the show notes. But thank you so much for joining and dropping the gems on the audience. I'm pretty sure they are loving this right now. But just thank you so much for dropping by.
yes, thank you. I enjoyed the conversation.